We're talking playoffs, same bat channel, same bat place. Elliot Harrison here, and a couple of rematches in the conference title games. The Patriots and Pittsburgh Steelers played at Heinz Field earlier this year. New England won the game. You see the graphic there, 27-16. Heck of a job there, graphics. Landry Jones played in that game, and Rob Gronkowski had a big play for the New England Patriots. Guess what? Landry Jones won't be playing in this game, and that guy won't be available. But we're going to break down each of the matchups in this football game in a second. Well, let's talk about the NFC one here, because Green Bay and Atlanta, they played earlier this year as well at the Georgia Dome. Now, the Packers had all sorts of injuries. This is really before Green Bay turned it on this season. You see it right there, Week 8. The Atlanta Falcons won an extremely close game on a touchdown pass from Matt Ryan to Mohamed Sanu. That is good producing right there. I think we just saw that. Devontae Freeman, he is going to be a handful. Well, let's take a look at all the matchups, because that's what we're going to do here, piece by piece. I've got Mark Dolgarian, our researcher, who just told me I have no responsibilities here whatsoever. So let's go to the quarterbacks, because Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers have a lot of responsibility. Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan, both MVP candidates. Matt Ryan ended up getting first-team All-Pro. You see the numbers there. The one that sticks out to me is really the sacks. Both of these guys were sacked plenty. Falcons have a good offensive line. Aaron Rodgers tends to hold the ball. Look at the touchdown passes. Rodgers led the league, but Matt Ryan, no slouch. So who has the edge? Well, I kind of cheated on this. I called a push, and here's why. Matt Ryan's under a tremendous amount of pressure. And by that, I mean, when you have the home game, and what we just saw with Dak Prescott, you can tend to press when things don't go your way early. And I think because of that, and because he hasn't had a ton of postseason success, Matt Ryan would not have the advantage. On the other hand, Aaron Rodgers, I don't think, has the advantage on Ryan either, because he's going to have to deal with that crowd. Closing out the Georgia Dome, by the way. This will absolutely be the last game. And we don't know what Jordy Nelson's status is going to be. Can Aaron Rodgers repeat the magic of the divisional round playoff game against the Cowboys? I think that's a tough ask of Joe Montana, much less Aaron Rodgers. So to me, I'm calling too close to call on this one. Okay, how about the running backs? You see that? Rush to judgment. See what we did there? 106 yards rushing per game for the Green Bay Packers, 120 for the Falcons. And the interesting thing here is, one, the Packers don't really have a true running back that they use. They're using a wide receiver in the backfield. By the way, future note, anytime you see an 88 in the backfield, something's wrong. Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman. Very interesting how the Falcons use them, and that's why I think the Falcons have the advantage in the running game. Not so much just because they may run for more yards, but because of the way the running backs are used. There's no reason Tevin Coleman or Devontae Freeman can't be used outside. The Packers are already depleted in the secondary, so what are you going to do? You're going to put a linebacker on them in coverage? That's advantage Atlanta. Let's go to wide receiver. Little tougher here, because you don't know. Is Jordy Nelson going to play or not? You know, a lot of people think that he won't. If he does, how limited is he going to be? Either way, both of these teams clearly could throw the ball. I mean, look at the receiving yards there. 4,700 for the Falcons, 4,199 for the Packers. Right now, I've got to give the slight edge to the Falcons wide receivers, and that is because they're healthier. You know, Julio Jones had the toe injury at the end of the regular season. He did hobble a little bit last week, but to me, it's got to also be the Falcons because of at home. Both teams are getting a heck of a lot out of their secondary players. And when you talk about receivers, you got to talk about the tight end position as well. Jared Cook has really emerged as a weapon for the Packers, and that's before he made that miraculous catch against the Cowboys. Either way, I like Atlanta slightly better here. Okay, let's go to the other side of the ball. Defensively, you see the numbers here. Neither one jumps off the page. 24 points allowed per game for Green Bay, 25 for Atlanta. Clearly, those aren't in the top half of the league. I always look at points first over yardage. Look at the third down conversion rates. That's scary, but what team has the advantage? I mean, the Packers aren't really doing that much better than Atlanta. I'm still going to give them the edge, though. I saw a lot from Green Bay's defense early against Dallas, and I think they've come around over the back half of the season. The problem they had was having a depleted secondary the whole year, but I feel like they've played better. I realize the Cowboys were able to make a comeback, and I also realize the Falcons are at home. But I think that Green Bay had a much stiffer challenge facing the Cowboys' offense in Dallas than Atlanta's defense facing Seattle's offense in Atlanta. if that all makes sense. Okay, I just broke down that as best I can. I've got a picks article coming out on Thursday, and I'm going to let you know then who I picked for this game. But what we did is poll everyone from NFL Now what they thought. You know who they picked? The Green Bay Packers. How about that? I guess they're believing in the Rodgers magic. I think Rodgers is going to need a little bit of help from his defense, though, if that's going to happen. Let's go to the other game here. Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, heck of a quarterback matchup. Mark Dolgarian, you have anything to add about this? He just looked at me blankly. So here's what I'm going to say. Roethlisberger's been fantastic his whole career, but he has struggled on the road in several games this year. I'm instantly thinking of Philadelphia, at Buffalo, 3 interceptions. Tom Brady has been remarkably consistent all year, and that is why I'm giving him the advantage. Now, I know a lot of people are watching this like, seriously, Harrison, enough about Tom Brady, okay? But here's the thing. When a guy is this consistently good, what else do you want me to say? You know, all these people that criticize the Patriots because, well, they had to play the Texans in the playoffs. Guess what? You play who's on your schedule, and you take care of business. And when a team doesn't play well and they still win by 2 scores, that's telling you something. Roethlisberger's struggles on the road still worry me a little bit, although I think he'll come up big in this game. Let's go to the running backs. Steelers have no talented running backs to mention, so let's talk about the Patriots. Okay, obviously that's not true. Le'Veon Bell, in my opinion, is the best running back in the league. You can take Zeke, you can take David Johnson. They're great players. Le'Veon Bell is a unique player. I've never seen anyone run like him, and he led the league in scrimmage yards per game. I give the Steelers the clear advantage here. This game right here was remarkable. He put up 236. This was one of the games that Roethlisberger struggled on the road. This one right here was at Cleveland. Bell was great in this game as well. If you look over his last 8 games, it is mind-boggling the numbers that he has put up. The only thing that Le'Veon Bell really has going against him is himself. He could stay on the field for 16 games. He's a unique talent. And I think New England's going to struggle with them, although their defense has been fantastic this year. Let's go to wideouts. Okay, interesting here because, you know, Pittsburgh, you have Antonio Brown, who could be the best player at his position in pro football. At least you could make the argument over the last 3 years. With New England, it's more of a committee approach, especially without Gronk being in there. Of course, we're incorporating tight ends when we talk about receivers. I think with New England, though, you've also got to look at their running backs and how much they catch the ball. So even though you have the presence of Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell can catch the ball, I'm calling this one even because of all the Patriots' diversity in their passing attack. That was Danny Amendola catching that football right there. Okay, that's Chris Hogan. You know, I could do this all day because I guarantee you every video we're going to show you someone different, whether it's James White or Dion Lewis, you know, or right there, Julian Edelman. Pittsburgh, though, I got to say, their offense is so diversified in the way they approach defenses, and it's really a testament to Todd Haley's ability as a play caller. I love what they do. I also like how Eli Rogers has gotten involved. That's him right there, number 17. You see him clearing out for Antonio Brown. Boy, was that a big play. Again, I'm calling this one even. I think it's just too close to call, similar to Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers in the NFC Championship. All right, defensively, Pittsburgh's gotten a lot better, and they are better than I think the perception was earlier in the year. You see the points allowed, not fantastic, but pretty good. 10th overall. Third down conversions, this is where New England has a clear advantage. And when you look at points per game, usually points allowed are tied to third down conversions. That's why I think you give the defensive edge to the Patriots, which you see right there. Of course, when Ryan Fitzpatrick does that, you always have the edge. All right, that wasn't fair. That was just a shot at the Jets, and it was totally unwarranted, and I apologize to the 3 Jets fans that are watching this video. That said, New England's been outstanding all year on defense, and please do not tweet me or leave a comment about the quarterbacks they played. You play who's on your schedule. And the Patriots led the league in points allowed. We're not talking about 8th. We're not talking about 15th. Number 1. And so to me, you cannot go against a team that's done it week after week after week after week. Even when the offense did put them in bad positions, the defense held the fort. That's all that you can ask. Ignore the yards. Look at the points. Now, again, I am not going to pick this game until Thursday, but our NFL Now staff went with Pittsburgh. How about that? Apparently, it was close. Maybe they're trusting that nobody can stop Le'Veon Bell. And if that's the explanation, I can't argue with that one. That said, it's going to be tough to win at Gillette. Hey, hope you enjoyed this. And by the way, always go to NFL.com/playoffs. They have everything you need to know. We'll see you.